You wake up. It's pitch black. The silence is heavy, pressing against your ears. You try to sit up, but your forehead hits solid wood. You can't move your arms more than 6 inches.
The smell hits you next. Damp earth, old varnish. Then the realization crashes in. You aren't in your bed. You're in a box, and that box is underground.
Your first instinct is to scream. Don't. Screaming burns oxygen. In a sealed space this size, oxygen is currency. You're spending it too fast.
Your heart is hammering against your ribs. That panic? That's the real killer right now. It spikes your cortisol, makes you hyperventilate. You need to freeze.
Assess the container. Use your hands. Is it smooth? Rough? If it's pine, you might have a shot. If it's reinforced steel or a sealed vault, the physics are against you.
You feel a vibration in your pocket. You reach down, fingers shaking. It's your phone. You press the side button. The light blinds you for a second.
Check the corners of the screen. No signal. And the battery icon is red. 10%. That's not just a number. That is your remaining lifespan.
10%. If you make the wrong call here, you die in the dark. Do you try to call 911 immediately? Or do you save it?
Turn the screen off. Now. That backlight is eating power. Every second that screen is active, you're losing potential communication time. Darken the environment.
Okay, let's talk logistics. Why do you have the phone? If this was a professional hit, you'd be dead. If it's a kidnapping, they want you to be found. Eventually.
Or they made a mistake, a sloppy pat-down. Either way, that device is your only tool. But you have a bigger problem. The air.
Carbon dioxide buildup. It's not just about running out of air to breathe. It's about poisoning the air you have left. You'll start feeling sleepy soon.
A standard coffin has roughly 880 liters of volume. Your body takes up about 70 of those. That leaves you with maybe 800 liters of air.
But you're stressed. An average person at rest breathes about 8 liters a minute. Panic pushes that to 50 or 60. You are literally eating time.
Slow your breathing. 4 seconds in. Hold. 4 seconds out. You need to lower your metabolic rate. Force your heart to slow down.
Now, reach up, tap the lid. Listen to the sound. Is it a sharp crack or a dull, heavy thud? This tells us the depth.
If it's a dull thud, you've got dirt directly on the lid. Soil weighs about 100 pounds per cubic foot. If you're 6 feet down, that's 3,000 pounds of dirt above you.
You aren't punching your way out of that. Hollywood lied to you. You try to break that lid, the dirt comes in, fills the void, and crushes you.
Exactly. Physical escape is Plan Z. Plan A is electronic. You need a signal. But underground, radio waves get absorbed by the soil moisture.
Radio frequency attenuation. Wet soil is a signal killer. Dry sand? Maybe you get a bar. Clay or wet mud? You're in a Faraday cage made of dirt.
So, you have 10% battery. You can't just hold the phone up and pray. You need to configure the device for a Hail Mary transmission.
First, kill all background apps. GPS, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi scanning. They are draining that battery searching for things that don't exist down there.
Drop the screen brightness to the absolute minimum. Switch to battery saver or low power mode instantly. You need to squeeze every milliamp out of that lithium-ion cell.
Now, think. Who do you call? 911 is the obvious choice, but 911 triangulation takes time, and if the call drops, they might just register it as a glitch.
And voice calls require a continuous connection. A text message? That's a data packet. It's smaller. It can slip through a weak signal easier than a voice stream.
SMS, short message service. It uses the control channel of the cellular network. It's much more robust than voice data.
But you don't have a signal yet. You're staring at no service. Do you move the phone around? Do you keep it still?
You need to map the box. Move the phone slowly along the seams of the lid. The signal might leak through a gap in the wood or a thinner layer of soil.
Watch the bars. If you see even a flicker of one bar, stop moving. Freeze. That is your window.
Let's go back to the psychology. You're alone. It's getting hotter in there. The CO2 is making your head spin. You feel the urge to sleep.
That's the CO2 narcosis. Fight it. If you fall asleep now, you won't wake up. Pinch yourself. Bite your tongue. Stay lucid.
You hear a noise above. Faint. Maybe footsteps? Or is it just the soil settling? Your brain starts hallucinating sounds to fill the void.
Don't trust your ears. Trust the vibration. Put your hand on the lid. Do you feel rhythmic thumping? That's machinery or walking?
If you hear machinery, you might be at a construction site or a landfill. That changes the timeline. Heavy equipment could crush the box before the air runs out.
Okay, check the phone again. Still 10%. It hasn't dropped. You've stabilized the drain. Now, let's talk about the emergency SOS feature.
Most modern phones have it. 5 rapid clicks of the power button. It blasts your location to emergency services and your emergency contacts.
But does it work without a signal? It tries to latch onto any carrier, not just yours. If Verizon is dead, it tries AT&T. It tries T-Mobile.
It's a roaming protocol. But if there is zero RF penetration, the phone is just screaming into the void. And that transmission attempt burns power fast.
So you don't spam it. You wait. You need to change the geometry of your situation. You need to get the phone higher.
Higher? You have 6 inches of clearance. How does moving the phone 3 inches up help?
It's about the angle of incidence. Can you dig? Is the floor of the box wood? Or is it dirt?
Feel the bottom. If it's dirt, you weren't buried in a coffin. You were buried in a makeshift crate. That's bad for structural integrity, but good for signal.
If it's dirt, the ground below you effectively grounds the signal less than the soil above. But let's assume it's wood. You are trapped in a box.
The air is getting heavier. You're sweating. Dehydration starts to kick in, but that's a long-term problem. The immediate problem is the headache.
That's the CO2 levels hitting 4%. At 10%, you lose consciousness. You have maybe 45 minutes left at this breathing rate.
You start thinking about your family, your job. The last thing you said to someone. Stop it. Regret is a distraction. Focus on the screen.
You see the battery dip to 9%. You didn't do anything, but the cold temp of the ground is draining the voltage. Batteries hate the cold.
Put the phone against your body, under your armpit or against your chest. Warm it up. You can recover maybe 1% or 2% just by heating the battery chemistry.
Good call. Thermodynamics. Keep the ion flow efficient. Now, you have to make the choice. Do you try the text, or do you try to make noise?
If you're deep, noise is useless. But if you're shallow, say 2 feet, a shallow grave, people might hear you screaming.
But we established screaming kills you. Use the phone, not to call, to bang. The corner of a phone is hard metal or glass.
Tap the SOS code on the lid. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short, Morse code. It's distinct. It doesn't sound like nature.
Tap, tap, tap. Wait. Listen. If there's a dog walking above, or a hiker, a rhythmic mechanical sound cuts through the background noise.
Nothing. Just the sound of your own blood rushing in your ears. The isolation is absolute. You are the only person on Earth right now.
Okay, back to the tech. 9% battery. You warmed it up. You're going to type a message. But who to?
Not your mom, not your partner. They will panic. They waste time crying. You text someone who gets things done.
Text the most reliable, level-headed person you know. Or text 911 directly if your region supports text to 911.
Buried alive. Low bat last known. Lock North Woods, mile marker 88. Send police. Keep it robotic. No love notes.
Wait. Don't hit send yet. Look at the signal again. Still nothing. If you hit send, the phone will keep trying to push that message until it dies.
It enters a retry loop. That burns the processor. You need to time the send with a signal spike.
You're holding the phone up to the wood. You're pressing it into the grain, trying to get it millimeters closer to the surface.
Sudden idea. The screen brightness. It's a light source. If you are shallow and it's nighttime outside.
The ground might glow? Unlikely, unless you're under loose leaves. But it's a long shot.
It's desperation time, Mark. If you're 2 feet down in loose topsoil, a high lumen flash might be visible to a passerby.
It's risky. Max brightness drains the battery in minutes. You're gambling your life on a photon scattering through dirt.
What else do we have? We're running out of air. The headache is a pounding migraine now. Your vision is getting tunneled.
Okay. We check the signal one last time. You move the phone to the foot of the coffin. Maybe the soil is thinner there.
You drag your body down. It's claustrophobic. Your clothes catch on the rough wood. You're using too much oxygen moving like this.
Stop moving. Check the screen. 1 bar. It flickered. 1 bar of edge. Not even 4G. Just basic 2G signal.
That's enough for a text. It's enough for a handshake with the tower. Do it now.
You type the message. Your thumbs are numb. Buried. Help. You hit send.
The status bar spins. Sending. It hangs there. That little circle is the most terrifying thing you've ever seen.
Sending. 8% battery. Sending. The screen dims. Don't let it lock.
Failed. Red exclamation mark. Message failed to send.
Damn it. The signal dropped before the packet cleared. You lost the connection.
And you lost 1% battery on the attempt. You're at 8%. The air is getting stale. You feel like you're breathing through a straw.
This is the breaking point. Most people give up here. They curl up and wait for the end.
But you aren't most people. You have 8%. You have a brain. And you're still breathing. We need a new strategy.
The hardware approach failed. The brute force approach failed. We need to hack the environment.
Hack the environment? You're in a wooden box under dirt. What is there to hack?
The phone itself. We need to boost its gain. We need to turn that internal antenna into something bigger.
You mean strip the phone? Rip it open? You don't have tools. You have fingernails and a dying will to live.
You have a zipper on your jeans. You have keys in your pocket. Do you have anything metal?
Metal. Keys. Yes. A house key. Brass. Conductive. Can we use it?
Passive radiator. If we touch the key to the antenna band on the phone frame, we might extend the reception range. It's theoretical physics, but we're desperate.
Theoretical physics is better than certain death. Place the key against the side. Hold it steady.
Your hand is shaking too much. You need to stabilize. Breathe. The CO2 is messing with your motor control.
Focus. 8%. The screen is your only light. The darkness outside the screen is total. It feels like the box is shrinking.
That's the psychological compression. The box isn't shrinking. Your mind is. Expand your awareness. Look at the bars.
1 bar again, with the key touching the side. It's stable. It's not flickering.
This is it. Do not type a new message. Resend the old one. Tap the red exclamation mark. Try again.
You tap it. Sending. The circle spins. You hold your breath. You literally stop breathing to keep your hand steady.
Sending. The bar holds. Come on.
Delivered.
It went through. Someone knows. But knowing isn't finding.
They have the text, but they don't have your coordinates. And you have 7% battery left. The clock just started ticking faster.
Now the real game begins. They have to find a needle in a haystack, and the needle is about to run out of power.
And you're about to run out of air. The rescue is a race against your own lungs.
Stay calm. You've established contact. Now we prepare for the extraction, or the end.
What do you do while you wait? You can't just lie there. You have to signal your location when they get close.
We need to conserve that last 7% for the final ping. Turn the phone off. Now.
Turn it off? Are you crazy? What if they call back? What if they need you to scream?
If they call, the ringtone uses power. If they call, you answer, and the connection drops, you lose 2%. You need to save it for the triangulation ping.
God, that's a hard choice. Sitting in the dark, knowing help might be trying to reach you, and you're ghosting them.
It's tactical discipline. You sent the SOS. Now you go dark to survive.
Okay, phone off. The darkness returns. It's heavier now. You can feel the weight of the earth above you.
Now we wait, and we breathe, very slowly.
Tick-tock.
You turned the phone off. That was the tactical play. But now you're sitting in absolute zero darkness. You need to understand the physics of what's happening above ground. The cell tower didn't give them a GPS dot. It gave them a sector. They have a search radius that could be 3 miles wide, and you're just a pocket of air under the dirt.
And the police logistics are grinding into gear. They're currently waking up a judge to get an emergency ping order for your carrier. Even with a life at stake, the telecom companies have protocols. It takes time to bypass the privacy filters and get the raw engineering data from the towers. Those minutes are costing you oxygen.
Let's talk about that oxygen. You're currently suffering from hypercapnia. It's not just running out of air. It's the carbon dioxide poisoning your bloodstream. Your blood is turning acidic. That's why your head feels like it's splitting open and your limbs feel heavy. You are literally marinating in your own exhaust fumes.
This method of execution tells me something about who put you here. This wasn't a professional hit. A pro puts 2 in the back of the head and dumps the body in a swamp. This is emotional. This is torture. Someone wanted you to have time to think about why you're here. That means it's personal, or you owe someone a lot of money.
If it was a cartel hit, you'd be in a barrel of acid. This is a message. But let's look at the construction again. Feel the seams of the box. If they used cheap wood, the moisture from the soil is already warping the boards. That's a double-edged sword. Warping lets air in, which buys you time, but it also compromises the structural integrity.
If the boards warp too much, the soil pressure will snap them. You'll hear it first, a loud cracking sound like a gunshot. Then the dirt rushes in. It won't be slow. It'll be tons of earth filling the void in seconds, crushing your chest cavity before you can even take a breath. You need to pray for good carpentry.
You check your watch if you can see the glow. 20 minutes have passed since you sent the text. It's time for the pulse check. You need to turn the phone on for exactly 60 seconds. This allows the network to register your handshake again, updating the triangulation data for the search team.
Booting up consumes a massive spike of power. You watch the battery icon. It jumps from 7% to 5% just from the startup sequence. That startup screen is the brightest light in the universe right now. You hold it up, praying for that 1 bar of signal to return. If the battery dies during boot, it's game over.
The phone searches. It locks on. That handshake just sent a fresh packet to the nearest tower. The search team just saw your blip refresh on their grid. They know you're still alive. They can measure the signal strength delay, the time advance, to estimate how far you are from the tower.
But they still don't have the z-axis. They know your latitude and longitude within a few hundred yards, but they don't know your depth. They are walking over the ground right now, shouting your name, but the dirt absorbs sound. You could be screaming your lungs out right under their boots and they wouldn't hear a thing.
That's why you don't scream. You strike. You take that metal key and you start a rhythmic banging on the lid. Thump, thump, thump. Low-frequency sound waves travel through solid matter better than high-frequency screams. You are trying to turn the coffin itself into a drum.
The search dogs are your best bet. A cadaver dog or a search and rescue canine can smell the stress pheromones leaking through the soil. You are sweating fear. That scent rises through the dirt pores. If a dog alerts, the handlers will start probing the ground with steel rods.
And that's the next danger. A probe rod is a 4-foot steel spike they jam into the ground to find resistance. If they hit the box, great. If they hit you, you're going to have a puncture wound in a sealed septic environment. But honestly, getting stabbed is better than suffocating.
Battery is at 4%. You shut it down again. Now the hallucination phase begins. The brain, starved of oxygen and sensory input, starts inventing reality. You might hear your mother's voice. You might see the lid opening. You have to stay grounded. If you start clawing at the lid in a panic, you'll burn the last of your air.
You need to enter a meditative state. It's called combat napping in the military. You lower your heart rate to sleep levels while staying awake. Every heartbeat costs oxygen. You need to become a reptile. Cold, still, slow. You are simply a battery waiting to be found.
But the cold is getting into your bones. The ground temperature is likely around 55 degrees. Hypothermia is creeping in alongside the asphyxiation. You're shivering, which burns energy, which demands more oxygen. It's a physiological death spiral. You are fighting a war on 3 different fronts inside that box.
You hear a dull thud above. Not the wind. Something heavy. A vehicle? A machine? The vibration shakes dust loose from the cracks in the wood. It falls into your eyes. You don't blink. You just listen. Is that the rescue team? Or is it the killer coming back to finish the job?
If it's the killer, you have one weapon left, the element of surprise. But let's be real. If they dig you up, you're too weak to fight. You have to hope that vibration is a backhoe loader clearing the earth. The sound of heavy machinery is the most beautiful music you've ever heard.
The vibration turns into violence. The steel teeth of a backhoe scrape against the wood directly above your head. It sounds like a train wreck right next to your ear. Then, the pressure changes instantly. The weight lifts. The wood cracks open, and for the first time in hours, a beam of blinding LED floodlight cuts through the darkness.
Hands grab you before you can even process the light. They drag you out of the earth like a rag doll. The night air hits your lungs, but it doesn't feel good. It burns. You're gasping, coughing, your body rejecting the sudden influx of oxygen after starving for so long. It's chaotic, loud, and incredibly cold.
That's the danger of rescue shock. Your collapsed lung capacity suddenly expands. If you gulp air too fast, you risk re-expansion pulmonary edema, fluid flooding your lungs. The paramedics slap a mask on you, not just to give you oxygen, but to regulate the pressure. You are in shock, shivering violently as the adrenaline crash finally hits.
As they load you into the ambulance, you see the reason you're alive. It wasn't just the text message, it was the handshake data. The tech team at the carrier triangulated that last 5% battery spike to a 50-meter radius. The K9 unit did the rest. Technology bought you the ticket, but biology crossed the finish line.
You survived because you had discipline. You didn't panic dial. You didn't burn your battery on the flashlight app to see the darkness. You treated that phone like a tactical asset, not a toy. Most people die with 20% battery left because they waste it trying to say goodbye instead of trying to be found.
But the real nightmare starts now. The PTSD from confinement is brutal. You'll never sleep in a completely dark room again. You'll check your battery percentage obsessively every 5 minutes. That box stays with you. It rewires your brain to fear tight spaces. You survived the burial, but now you have to survive the memory.
The verdict is simple. Power management is life support. In a disaster, whether it's a collapsed building, a landslide, or a kidnapping, your ability to communicate is your only lifeline. Keep your devices charged, carry a backup power bank, and learn how to send a text message blindly without looking at the screen.
And watch your surroundings. People don't just get buried alive by accident. Someone was watching you. Someone knew your routine and your route. Situational awareness prevents the box in the first place. Check your locks. Watch your back. Don't make yourself an easy target.
Exactly. The best way to survive a coffin is to never end up in one. Verify your security, trust your gut, and always keep a charge. Stay ready. Stay sharp.
We'll see you in the next file.